Hello, I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. For this book talk, we'll be discussing the third book in the Nightside series, Nightingales, Lament by Simon R. Green. Now, this one is where John gets hired to find out what's going on with the singer in the Nightside. Because she's up and coming, but she's cut off all contact from her family and her friends. And so he gets asked to find out why. Find out if she's happy, if she's safe, if she's doing well. Just tell her family loves her and that's it. If she's not doing well, let the family know. That's all its only job in this. So, spoilers from here forward. Just letting you know. Hope you enjoy. Bye. Alright, so the beginning of the book. Nightingales Lament, John going to the power company. Now this one, I actually can completely understand with John on this one. Because when he gets to the power company, you know, those security officials, we find out that John can take all the bullets out of your gun. Because some big dummy steps in front of him thinking he's hardcore, and John just removes all the bullets from his gun and then walks past him. And as he's walking past him, the people who know John start yelling at the moron because he could have gotten them all killed, because John has a really nasty reputation, even though he's a good guy. But he gets in there and he finds the mechanic, this person who started a power company, but somebody's sabotaging him, somebody's destroying the machinery. As they get in there, they find out it's the hanged man's beautiful daughter, and it's her ghost. Her ghost is destroying the plant because the mechanic had killed her and her husband, the gunslinger, and took the gunslinger's body, hooked it up to his machines, and was just sucking the power out of him. And I agree with John. He did what he needed to do. He killed the mechanic. He destroyed the power plant, even though it caused so much damage through the Nightside. But John was right in this. Because even though John just did that and saved and let their spirits finally be released to go on to where they go, Walker's looking for him because he destroyed the power. Walker didn't care. Walker just wants the Nightside to keep running normal because he's the voice of the authority. And so John is hiding from Walker as best he can. But John heads to Strangefellows, where he just wants to drink in silence to mourn his friend who was poisoned and killed too early, when a French man comes up and asks him to look for his daughter, what's her name? Rosignol? I don't quite know how to pronounce it, but I think it's, we'll just say Ross, because that's what John ends up calling her. To find Ross and to make sure she's okay. That she wanted to always be a singer, that she came to the Nightside to be that singer, and that now she's cut off all contact to find her. So John goes looking for her. So he goes to find the Cavendishes, who are the managers of Ross, to find out why she is the way she is. But the Cavendishes know John's showing up, because, you know, John has a name. As soon as he walks in the building, some somnambulists, people who are put into his sleep, show up and beat the living crap out of John, like break his ribs, give him concussion, just rip him apart really, and then drag him upstairs and put him down. And because they're asleep, there's very little John can do. He can't intimidate them, can't scare them, because they're asleep, and he doesn't want to hurt them because these are people who are in debt. That's why they're letting their sleeping bodies be used in any way that the person who owns them wants to use them, and the damages that are done are the sleeping people's fault. But John has a reputation. He can't just let them get away with this. When he's brought to the Cavendishes, he finds out that they want him to stay away, stop messing with their client. He pulls out pepper, throws it into their face so that they wake up because they're gagging and sneezing and coughing so hard, which shows just how John's clever. He even says, I carry a bunch of things in my trench coat, my white trench coat, and a lot of people don't look at pepper as something. I think pepper is worth it, and he shows it right here why. It knocks these sleeping people away from him so that he can escape, get away, go find Pew, who is a mortal enemy, but a good guy, who heals John by sucking a month of his life away, and allows John to heal completely, and get away and get free. And also gives John the ability to hide from Walker, which is what he's still trying to do, because Walker's still looking for him for destroying the power plant. But he now knows that Ross is in trouble, so he goes to her again, talks to her, convinces her, leaves when the Cavendishes show up, and heads to the only honest newspaper in the Nightside, the Night Times. that are by Julian, the Victorian adventurer. A guy who took like a Captain America serum, became stronger, faster, more agile, all that, and also what became his goodness came out, and he was just a good person. And he had been sent, actually, the Victorian adventure, because that's when he had lived, but he had been caught by the murder masks, his arch enemies, pushed into his time slip, and showed up in the night side in the 1960s. And he worked through the newspaper until he became the editor and owner of the Night Times, and so that he could publish the truth against anybody who wanted it. I mean, this building had massive protections because the players, the powers, and the Dominions and all those don't like the truth being told about them. Julian doesn't care. And that's one of his big things. Is he's a Victorian adventurer. He can fight and beat pretty much anybody. Because he wants Julian to team up with him to fight the Cavendish, but Julian can't. He has to stay with the Night Side, or with the Night Times. So he sends him to find Dead Boy, which I'm really glad he did, because the Dead Boy is funny. Like when John first meets Dead Boy, because what it is, Dead Boy was killed shortly after he came to the Night Side, made a deal with someone. He never says who, but you get the impression it was Satan, to come back and kill those who killed him. And he does it. He kills them bad. Like, they don't describe it, but John says that when those murderers went to hell, it was probably relief to end up there after what Dead Boy had done to them. But the thing is that the deal he made is to come back, but he never made the deal to stop after he found them. So the Dead Boy just kept going. He's not a zombie. He's more of a possessed corpse. He's possessed by himself. I mean, he can still take damage, which he just duct tape and putty and all that type of stuff. But he's also makes him kind of fearless, so that when John shows up, they need to go in the necropolis, which is the graveyard before the Night Side, because it's been taken over by some spirits. And Dead Boy just kicks the door open, says, "All right, who's ever in here, come out and face me." Which John just looks at him and goes, "This is why nobody likes to work with you. You know that, right?" The Dead Boy was fun. And they get in there to destroy the Primal, who are spirits from the beginning of time. They wipe them out. And Dead Boy says, "Yeah, okay, I'll work with you. It sounds like fun. There's going to be violence. There's always violence with you around, John." Yeah, so they head back to Rosendale. They manage to sneak her out, where we find out from Dead Boy, because Dead Boy's dead. She's not alive anymore, but she's being held on the cusp of death. She doesn't have an aura. Like, everyone has an aura, but she doesn't, which means she's dead. But at the same time, she's slightly alive. And Dead Boy can't explain it because he's never seen it before. But now that John kind of knows what to look for, he has maybe can figure out some way to help her. But that's when the Cavendishes show up. Scare everyone away, and then the Harrowing shows up because John has been using his power so much, and they start attacking, and they're even beating Dead Boy who can punch through pretty much anybody, because nothing can hurt Dead Boy, and he doesn't feel pain, but even he can't defeat the Harrowing. It finally takes Count Entropy to do that. He just turns them all to mush, and they get, the Cavendish, because the Cavendishes hired Count Entropy to protect them from other powers and dominions. But when they get up on the stage, Ross sings into Count Entropy's face, and because of that sadness and that being dead that she has pushes into him, makes him kill himself, because she sings right at him, which causes the Cavendishes just to go like, well, we're going to have to kill everybody else here. And so they start to go out when John again throws pepper into their face, so they can't do anything. Julian shows up, and we find out that the Cavendishes are actually the murder masks. And then Walker shows up as well, and he forgives John. Like, well, you took down the Cavendishes, and I've been looking at them for a while because they were starting to become a problem. So I'll forgive you for the power outage, but don't let it happen again. That's basically how Walker goes. Walker, I actually kind of like Walker, even though it comes across as a bit of a jerk. I actually kind of like him. He seems like a proper city gentleman, and somebody who's not going to put up with the Night Side's dark and nasty side. So I actually kind of like Walker for all his his evil aura that always seems to come around him when he's with John. Ends with kind of a sad note where Ross doesn't want to see John anymore. I mean, she hires Dead Boy to protect her, to be her bodyguard, but she doesn't want to see John anymore because John reminds her too much of the horror of the Cavendishes, which is, I don't know, I read that, or I heard it because I listen to Audible mostly, and it just, even just hearing how she said that to John, it just kind of hurt that she rejected him so utterly and completely after he saved her and after he helped her. But John's kind of used to that, and so he just, like, oh well. And he also finds out he's not getting paid because the Frenchman who showed up, her father, died 2 years previously, so that was his ghost. So he just did this job and all of these things, and he's not going to get paid for it. So the book ends on a bittersweet note, which seems to be a theme for the night side. Still, I did enjoy it. I did like it. A lot of interesting ideas and concepts came out of this. And I'll give that to Simon R. Green. He makes some interesting ideas and theories and conspiracies come out of all of these different people and creatures and heroes and legends that you hear about in the world and in books. And that's the end. Hope you enjoyed it. Please come back if you did. I'll talk to you later. I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. Bye.